Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is? Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And for those of you who like these type of videos, please remember to click like down below. Keep the likes higher than the dislikes, it will be greatly appreciated. But over to the point. Several of my subscribers linked me a video from Igor, however we say it, over at VitruvianPhysique, saying that he is not going to bulk anymore. And actually, I agree with most of what he said in the video. I actually am going to agree with him. I'm still going to give him a little bit of a hard time because this guy did come out and say that I have the worst genetics in YouTube fitness and he squats like 420. Like, I don't know, bro, man. People who live in glass houses, you have 420 squat. You shouldn't be talking about other people's genetics. But over to the point. Over to the point. He's actually right as far as a lot of things he said in the video. And this very much lines up with what I have been saying for quite a while to a lot of you guys. I don't bulk anymore. I'm an advanced lifter. Right? I'm an advanced lifter in my 40s. I don't bulk. I try to stay roughly at the same weight. And this is stuff that I talk about with my clients, with other people also. I generally try to tell you guys that once you're a fairly advanced lifter, the bulking and cutting needs to go. Now people say, well, people need to cut. No, you don't need to cut. Cutting is stupid if you do not have a reason to do it. And I don't care about the context of physique competition because I am philosophically and morally opposed to physique competition. So therefore that's a non-issue. We don't do that on this channel. All right, we are about strength, fitness, athleticism. If you do not need to cut, don't cut. I get it. You need to make weight for a weight class. Or you need to cut for your health because you're an unhealthy body fat. You don't have no issue with that. And maybe you want to look slightly better. Maybe you want to go down to 11, 12%. That's fine. But you shouldn't cut arbitrarily. And if you're bulking in such a way that's going to make you cut, it's going to hurt your progress. It is going to be harder for you to make gains as an advanced lifter. And it's already hard enough to make gains. Cutting isn't something you should be doing with any degree of regularity. All right, once you get to a body fat, you basically need to try to stay there. When you say, hey, this is the body fat I want to be at, you need to find a sustainable body fat and you need to stay there. I don't care whether that's 10% or 16%, but you need to stay there. Very, very little change in your body fat. And that's basically what he presented, was on a bunch of college athletes they were looking at, and they had actually quite a few years of training. And they had done some studies looking at this. And what they found is that when they put them on a slightly higher bulk, enough that they gained body fat, they didn't really gain significantly more muscle. In other words, when they put them on enough of a bulk that they started gaining fat, where it was something like 1.2 kilograms of lean tissue gain with 1 kilo of fat gain, they didn't gain any more muscle than the people who were on a much smaller surplus who only gained 1.2 kilograms of muscle in that time. It was all basically lean tissue. And that is the case. You can make changes in lean tissue. In other words, lean bulking. That's still bulking, by the way. And that's what people need to understand. I hate it when people say, well, I'm not going to bulk. Well, if you gain 3 pounds, you bulked. It's a very clean bulk. Okay, it's still a bulk. Weight gain is bulk. Weight loss is a cut. Not complicated. It's just that people tend to think of them in extremes. They're thinking 10, 20 pounds. Just like me, it's like when it's like I might do a cut. I'm not talking about 30 pounds, guys. I've dropped 5 pounds of body fat for a cut. Little mini cuts. But the point we get to is that that's generally the case with more advanced lifters. You're not going to see that. Now, does that mean novice lifters shouldn't be bulking? And I always tell guys, yeah, you generally should. And he said the same thing. Look, early on in your training, you need to. I have clients who have a couple of years of training experience who need to bulk. What I base it on is something like your fat-free mass index. That's a very, very good indicator of how much you would benefit from a bulk, right? Pull up fat-free mass index calculators. And I'm going to tell guys, now granted, if you're fat already, if you're at a high body fat, obviously you don't need to bulk. You need to trim down to a healthy body fat. But use a fat-free mass index calculator. That's a very good indication of how much tissue you have to gain. In other words, you start calculating, hey, what would it take for me to be at a 24 fat-free mass index based upon my body fat estimate? And I would say anybody who's under about a 23 to 24 might want to consider bulking still. Okay, you're nowhere near with the structural limits of your frame are, particularly when I get guys who have a 20, a 21 fat-free mass index, and they don't have a high body fat. They need to go ahead and bulk. They need to go ahead and bulk. They need to put on some size. Now, when I say bulk, do I mean that they need to get fat? No. But a person who's at a 20 fat-free mass index, they should gain a pound every month. They should gain 2 pounds a month. And you guys saw, I just put up on my own things, I have one of my skinny undereaters who we put 10 pounds of body weight on in several months. Okay? And everyone's like, he looks like he recomped. He didn't lose any body fat. If anything, he gained a tiny amount of fat. But when you gain 10 pounds of solid muscle, you look leaner. Well, he still has a six-pack. He has abs. Okay? He has abs still. That guy, I bulked him. Right? That's a skinny, underweight client who I bulked. And we put 10 pounds of pure muscle tissue on over the course of several months. He's still really lean. Right? You can see it on my community tab. You can see it on my Facebook fan page right now. It's all there. We bulked him up. He needed to bulk. And I'm going to put another 10 pounds on him. And he's not going to look any fatter because he's way below his potential. Right? So with a lot of times your novice lifters, you need to bulk them up. And that guy's still kind of a novice. You know, he's got a 225 bench. He's got a 135 overhead press. His squat and deadlift need a lot of work. Okay? But he can gain another 10 pounds of muscle even from where he is now. Right? That particular guy is 5'11", 160 pounds there. He needs to be 170. Probably needs to get up to 180. Clean bulk somebody up. And novices can do that. But I'm going to agree with Igor here saying that when you get to be more advanced, not that the guys in that study were advanced, their numbers were bad. Okay, you better look at their list. These guys are squatting 120 kilos, benching 90 kilos. Yeah, I get my guys past that pretty quick, my clients, even my leaner clients. But the numbers were bad, but the point is still the same. They were able to take two groups, and the guys who just lean bulked were able to gain pure lean tissue, right? Their muscle gain equaled their weight gain. And the guys who bulked on the higher calories and gained weight more quickly, they gained body fat without really a substantial performance increase to go with it. Maybe the bench gained more, right? Because fat actually increases your bench press. We know this. Gaining body fat will increase your bench. You can eat your way to a bigger bench. But they lost performance in other metrics. So some of their stuff went up, some of it went down. Whereas in the guys who gain pure lean tissue, they increase performance across the board. And that's usually what you want to do with the more advanced lifters. And you just have to accept the simple reality is going to be slow. So I tend to agree. I tend to train people the same way. I tend to coach the same way. I tend to advise the same way. It's the intelligent approach to take for people who are no longer really novices. You know, I mean, be realistic here. I mean, once you're benching past 2 plates a side, once you're squatting past 3 plates a side, once you're deadlifting past 4 plates a side, you have pretty well tapped out your noob gains, unless you're a very tall guy, in which case we could probably add another plate to all those. But you've tapped out a lot of your gains. At that point, you shouldn't be bulking to gain fat unless you plan on staying fat. Because what we don't want to do for more advanced lifters is get to a point to where we have to put you in a calorie deficit. That is not good. It's not ideal. It's counterproductive. You don't want to cut as an advanced lifter, ever, if you can avoid it. So you either want to be recompositioning at the same body weight at all times, or be focused upon purely slow, continual gains in lean tissue and strength. That's generally the desirable approach. So I'm going to agree with what Igor said. The studies, there have been multiple studies looking at this that have confirmed it over the years. And just generally speaking, for more advanced lifters, if you're gaining weight so quickly that you're gaining significant amounts of body fat, it's going to be counterproductive in the long term. It really is. You need to be gaining very, very slowly at that point. So what we would think of as a clean bulk, or if you have a slightly higher body fat, you can go ahead and focus on recomposition, which is largely what I did for this entire year, right? And it happened. I gained muscle and lost fat throughout the course of 2019 and gained strength without significant changes in body weight. So that's your other option. So again, let's go to the point. If you're fairly lean already, you can just lean bulk. If you're a little fluffier, you can probably recomposition for the next couple of years. Okay, pretty straightforward. And the only time you're ever going to really bulk or cut is when you start looking at something like weight class and weight to performance ratios or something as an athlete. At that point, it might become a good idea. Probably become a good idea to start assessing those things, but they're going to be based around weight classes and things in your sport more than anything else, and trying to optimize where you're going to be at. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.